My name is Pratyush Sinha. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Utech Media Private Limited company. We provide brand solution, story solution to our clients. Okay, but the reason I'm talking on ecotourism, and I thank the team behind this to invite me, is because I'm a keen and very passionate traveler. I travel a lot. I blog with a pen name called Collared Hippie on travel and tourism. I've also invested in a small startup which is into travel and tourism called Beyond Destination. So yeah, I'm very involved with travel industry, and I kind of study this industry a lot. I have few clients from travel and tourism which we consult on a daily basis. So yeah, that's the reason I'm here to talk about travel and tourism. So due to COVID, the one sector which has hit really bad is travel and tourism. According to some of the sources, expected about 550 lakh crore INR is something which this industry will be hit in India. So about 5 trillion INR is what they are saying. So this industry has hit just not in India, it's globally. This industry, because this industry lockdown हो गया है. So obviously लोग बाहर नहीं आ सकते, travel नहीं कर सकते. So we should understand this is the industry which will be hit the worst. But so पहले ऐसा था, you all know we can travel. You just have to get a visa. You go to that country. There were countries on visa on arrival, and a lot of countries which were just opening up. It was a time when a lot of countries were just opening up with this concept of visa on arrival, right? And suddenly it has all come to a halt. Suddenly every country is now thinking how to do this visa on arrival thing, whether to give visa or not for a few years or not. So yeah, this industry looks as of now really badly hit, but then there are some opportunities also which we'll discuss in this discussion. But yeah, before it was like in the last 5 years I have been to about 18 countries, so it's beautiful traveling. So the basic reason of tourism, why people travel, I think, is to get that experience, right? And to know, for me, traveling is the best education you can have. You travel to different worlds, you meet different people, you get different experiences. So your spectrum widens, and that's something which is beautiful of traveling. The experience, the story you get. You become a storyteller once you're back. You're sitting with people and you talk about your travel experiences. So those things which for me that's surreal. For me that's really enlightening, and that is something, the beauty of travel, which obviously post-COVID will change. The entire experience will change, but the basic will remain same. Traveling and you traveling and the entire industry would be an industry which will give you experience, which would make you a storyteller, and that is the basis of this industry, and we should focus there to find the new opportunity. So for me, if you ask me, comfort in traveling is a very subjective thing. It depends on what is comfort to who. Like it's person to person. Like when I travel abroad, me and my wife, when we travel abroad, our 15 days of traveling, say for example Europe, is particularly dependent on the budget. We budget it. So there are days when we are staying in hostel, but then there are days we are staying in a 5-star or 6-star property. So the comfort, yes, it's important, but then I would say it depends from person to person. Like I've been to places in India also, there are places where the backpacking is the biggest money spinner, and a lot of travelers who come in for backpacking. For example, just to give an example of a country, Sri Lanka, there's a place or city called Ella in Sri Lanka, which is only for backpackers. So they make comfort accommodation for backpackers, right? But then you look at Maldives, the resort islands, the comfort for the Maldives. So yeah, so things will change, but like I said, the basic of tourism is storytelling. How well that place can give you a story. How can you connect with that audience? When I say audience, is the person who's traveling. That's the base of tourism. That's the base of traveling. That's the reason why humans travel, and it will remain same. So comfort will change obviously, but the basic will remain same. Very valid point, and yes, first thing first, it's the last 5 years I've been traveling extensively, but then I've been traveling since my college days, right? जब कॉलेज में थे तब पॉकेट मनी पे ट्रैवल करते थे, सो अब्रॉड ट्रैवल नहीं कर सकते थे, बट आई रिमेंबर friends we had a bike and we used to share bike in college, but we used to fill petrol and just go for a road trip on a bike trip from Pune. We had done bike trip to Shirdi and all those places. So I have seen the landscape changing over the years, right? I'm a huge road trip fan. I'm a massive road trip fan. I do road trip extensively. Me and my wife, we do extensive road trips. And we have seen the landscape change. For example, Pune to Goa, for example. The most traveled route, I would say, the road trip, the most filmy and glamorous route is, travel to Goa. We have seen the landscape change so much that there was time when we used to go and the lush green, landscape used to come the moment you just cross Pune, Shirward. Shirward up cross karte the and lush green farms used to come. Now it's all industry. Till the time you're at Amboli Ghat or somewhere, then you see, okay, now we are in the jungle, and now that experience is coming. Like for example, Pune and Bombay. I remember Baner. There's a place called Baner in Pune. वहाँ तक पहुँचने के बाद ऐसा होता था हम पुणे के बाहर आ गए, and Lonavala used to be like the beautiful pristine belt while you're traveling to Bombay. But this has destroyed. Now Pune and Bombay doesn't feel like you have traveled Pune to Bombay. It's like city after city, concrete jungle after concrete jungle. So yeah, landscape has changed. I don't know whether I would call it devastated. I would call it, a lot of things are not the same as they were before. Nature obviously has taken a big toll, but then development comes at cost of something, and unfortunately it's the nature. But then nature has its way of answering it back. So COVID is one way. So what is the learning from COVID in terms of in as far as tourism is concerned? My learning from COVID. First thing first, the COVID has taught me one thing, that we need to value more to our nature. Right? We have not been valuing the nature as much as we should have. So we should now. We'll have to value more. The first learning of COVID is this. The second part of your question, whether there should be a lockdown or not for some of the sites. See, there's something called responsible tourism. It comes from within. First thing first, there has to be a lot of education from the government point of view, from this college's point of view, of responsible tourism. The kids should be taught what is a responsible tourism. Tourism is one sector which can give you the maximum job in the minimum time possible, right? Tourism is one sector which can spin the fortune of a city. I'll give you an example. We traveled to Indonesia in 14-15 to a place called Nusa Penida. Now Nusa Penida, at that time 2014-15 when we went, my wife found it through a blog or some mention on Condé Nast or some magazine. We reached there, it was a raw island. It was absolute raw island. There were no roads, nothing. But it was pristinely beautiful. And 2019, last year, so we made few friends. They were sharing pictures. It's a commercial hub in Indonesia because they have marketed it that way. So it has created a lot of jobs. It has created a lot of money. People have made fortunes there. So yes, tourism has a lot of potential. We should understand that. But if it is not responsible, if you are not responsible, it will not get you money. Like I see a lot of beautiful tourism sites in India which are not maintained. People litter there, people throw things. So that comes when you are not valuing nature. So point is, yes, we should value nature. And for that, if it needs to, you need to have a period, say you open for 10 months and then you stop it for 2 months, you should do it. There are countries who are doing it. Like the biggest example is Philippines. They shut Boracay Island. Boracay is their money spinner. They shut that island for that entire beach for 1 year. So they took that risk because they knew that कि 1 साल बंद करते हैं, but इससे मैं 5 साल और कमा सकता हूँ. And that is how you have to have this, thinking for tourism, because tourism is the most beautiful sector to start or reboot the economy, which we are talking now, post-COVID, that how do we reboot the economy? How do we get people the jobs which they are losing? It's like you'll have to think about ecotourism. You'll have to think about developing your own tourism. Like I said, post-COVID, I will not be able to travel abroad, even if I want to. Like all my vacation plans, like this year in July, I was planning to be in Spain, but I can't go to Spain because A, it's scary to go to Spain now. B, Spain would not allow me to get in, right? All the countries will become, boss, let's focus on ourselves. पहले हम अपना हेल्थ देख लेते हैं, बाद में टूरिज्म देखते रहेंगे. So countries wouldn't allow, and I don't know till when. Probably 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. I don't know. I can't comment. It would be premature to comment anything on how it would shape up. So that is what I was mentioning at the start of my talk. Is like it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for Indian tourism. It's an opportunity for us to develop our tourist sites, because people like me and millions of tourists who are passionate travelers, they would like to travel. The moment this lockdown is over and little safer to travel, people would love to travel, but they can't travel abroad. Right? On an average, an average tourist package, if you say a Europe tour package, is about 2.5 to 2.75 lakh rupee per head, inclusive of air travel. That entire 2.5 lakh rupee can be taken into our account and probably spent somewhere, if not 1.5 lakh rupee, into some Indian city. So that's the potential of this market. People, especially the place Sindhudurg, for example. I've been to Sindhudurg. The entire bed is beautiful. Like students from your college, students from other colleges, and people there should get into ecotourism. There's a lot of traction on ecotourism. I know a lot of people are doing it at Amboli, where they do this 3-day, 4-day trek and look for insects and birds and reptiles. So those kind of things, Sindhudurg is a beautiful belt, develop something, because this is the time, this is the opportunity. The person who gets into ecotourism and biotourism now will make a lot of money, because they are travelers waiting to travel. So post-COVID, yes, there would be a fear. So I take it this way. Humans have a very short memory, right? We forget very easily everything. So I would not say that there would be a massive behavioral change, but yes, there would be a small time where behavior would change. Like people would not go for Goa Carnival; they will refrain from going. There would still be chunk who would be daring enough to go to, and rightly so. It's their life, the way they want to take the decision. It's their decision. But yeah, a lot of people would refrain. A lot of people would not want to go to, say, Brazilian Carnival, like you said. Having said that, what are the options left? And in that, they would pick and choose the best option. I would not say for somebody, if serenity might not be the catch for traveling, probably it's something else. It's the buzzing life, or it's not the beach, it's the mountains. So it depends on person to person. But yeah, a little behavioral change is what I'm expecting in tourism sector, and that is the window I'll see where the ecotourism and biotourism should shoot up in India, with the latest emphasis from the government of India and the Prime Minister himself 2 days ago, where he said local pe vocal. These all things we should, as a marketer I'm talking, we should encash on such emotions, right? So first thing first, India on a tourism map, right? For me, India is the most beautiful country in the world. I have seen about, as I said, about 18 countries in the last 5 years and a couple of countries before that. But India is the most beautiful country, and the reason is the diversity. It's massive. People are so different. It's colorful. So I have friends in Italy. I have friends in France, Japan, America. They all come to India and they say, Pratyush, we would like. So whenever they travel, I ask them question, what is one thing you like about India? And most of the time is the people. The answer is people, color and food. So the culture, people and the cuisines is something which we should harp on. So as far as geographical locations and sites are concerned in India, there are some amazing sites. In the entire country has some beautiful pockets. Like Northeast, as a pocket, it's beautiful. It's something which is beyond words. You go to Kashmir, it's beautiful. You go to Kanyakumari, it's different. The beauty of our country is you keep traveling and the landscape change, the language change, the cuisine change every few kilometers. Like I'm talking via web to Sindhudurga. I'm sure the entire cuisine of Sindhudurga is different than the cuisine of Pune. Right? It's different and I love it. And that's the beauty of this country. And unfortunately, we have not encashed on it. Though there is a huge demand of tourism outside. On plate there is an opportunity. You should just encash it. People would come to you if you are catering to them. You should not saying that okay मैं एक छोटे से गांव में हूँ, अच्छा है मेरा गांव बहुत सुंदर है, but यहाँ जापान से टूरिज्म नहीं हो सकता है. Because social media has made your world really really small. बहुत छोटा हो गया. On a click people would know about this Sindhudurg village in Japan. You just have to feel about it. You just have to be convinced that okay my village can get that tourism. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity and we should encash. This is the best time. Very valid point. I'm like a lot of many times we see that the moment a lot of tourists comes, that place goes for a toss. Everything gets commercial, or we say touristy. This place is very touristy, and then that is when the real travelers starts shying away. They don't come. And I think that is one thing we should keep in mind. So there are things which you should and we shouldn't. Like there are things like you should take care of the hygiene, and if you're nature friendly, you should just not, because understand, tourism is on nature. Nature is giving you money, is giving you an opportunity to earn money. You can't kill nature, because if you do it, like we have done it over the years, COVID has happened. It's I feel, and it's my personal opinion, that COVID is nature's way of saying enough. Take a pause, breathe, and let me also breathe. So yeah, in short, you should take care of the hygiene, you should take care of the nature, you should use materials which are eco-friendly as far as possible. Keep it clean, don't use plastic. There are many those standard things you should follow, like don't use plastic, don't litter, don't allow tourists to litter, have good sanitation, keep those things first, make those things proper, and then invite people for tourism, right? And that is when people also respect. So when you travel, there are a lot many friends and a lot of us, we talk about cleanliness. Singapore कितना clean है, हम clean क्यों नहीं हो सकते हैं? So there are two things about it. Singapore is clean because yes, people don't litter. B, it's clean because the people who have created this tourism industry, they are also very conscious about it. They have kept dustbins every few meters. They have kept signboards saying don't litter every meter. In Singapore you will see signboards. You would think कि सिंगापुर में signboards की ज़रूरत नहीं है क्योंकि लोग वहाँ खुद से करते हैं. It's always it's always between the business owner and the individual tourist. उन दोनों का collaboration होगा तो ही एक अच्छा ecosystem बनता है tourism का. And those are the things we should keep in mind when focusing on ecotourism, because if you abuse, nature has its way to answer back. Like I said, travel is an experience. It's an experience you want. And people who are traveling abroad, say from India, they are seeking that experience. So we can't say that they want to travel abroad because they are west inclined or they just want to see good things. Yes, traveling. So understand, for any entrepreneur who wants to get into travel business or tourism, he or she should understand that when a person is taking 10-day leave, to go somewhere with his family or with her family, they would not go to a place which has no ecosystem, which doesn't assure or promise an experience. India, unfortunately, we don't give that too many options to a tourist. Second is the cost of traveling. Again, cost of traveling is as good. So, for example, if you want to travel to a place northeast from Bombay, the cost would be as good as traveling to Thailand, right? So that is something again from the government point and from the other places they need to look into it. Whether how can we reduce the ticket pricing and how we can make it accessible. Having said that, that's a big opportunity for a place like Sindhudurg, for a place like Bengurla, for a place like Sawantwadi, where people from Bombay who wants to travel for Thailand for an beach experience, just an example, that a Bombayite wants to have a 7-day beach experience. So he starts looking for experience. So he would say, okay, my options are Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, blah, blah, blah. Why? Because these places give me that experience that I can go, I can probably relax, I can read a book on a beach, beaches are clean, food options are ample, places are, there is a party scene also. So I'll go to Thailand. What if Sindhudurg provides the same? So that person now will have to drive for a few hours, then plan this immigration and visa. So I'm sure people will take that. So experience, provide experience is very important, which anybody who is getting into this, which answers to your second part of the question, that what an entrepreneur or a person should look into, and then tourists should be careful of. Entrepreneurs should look for experience, because I'm giving you a good experience. All those people who are planning from this room, who are planning to get into this business, focus on experience. Travel is only about experiences and stories. Focus on the story. What story can you give from your city? And story has to be, a delightful story. It cannot be a sad story. It's travel. It's chutti. You have gone for a holiday, and holidays are something precious, right? So holidays are precious. You have to respect that. You have to respect that. For a customer, holiday is precious. So first thing first, experience. Second, like this, a few points, like you have to make it friendly to the nature. You have to keep nature in mind. So the investment point of view, very good question. कि experience देने के लिए खर्चा करना पड़ेगा, right? Which is not the case. Experience देने के लिए आपको care लेना पड़ेगा, right? It's to give experience is not necessary for a lot of people. There is a very famous saying: all good things in life are for free. Air is for free, water is for free, sunlight is for free, nature is for free. So all good things are for free. So it's not about expense. Like I've been to a place, Tarkarli. So Tarkarli is a place I've been, and I stayed at a homestay. Beautiful homestay, beautiful food. Costed nothing to them because it's their home. But I paid them some amount. I would say, I think it was 900 or 1000 rupee per night was the rent. But it was their house. There's no investment. The food was basic. But I loved that experience. So you create that story and people take that. The story is गाँव. The story is गाँव की मिट्टी. The story is गाँव की कहानी. The story is गाँव के वो बूढ़े चाचा जिनसे बात कराऊंगा मैं आज रात को. आपका एक सेशन कराऊंगा वो बूढ़े चाचा से. वो गाँव की एक लाइफ दिखाऊंगा. That story would cost you nothing because that's your village. You just have to keep hygiene and clean it. Create that ecosystem. Provide food on time. Provide clean food, clean water, clean sanitation. Keep the nature the way it is. And what other things tourists are looking for, just keep that in mind because it's a very important 10 days for him or her. Keep that in mind. Care for them, and tourism will happen. We are blessed with nature. Nature has already invested in it. So like you get memes these days that from Jalandhar Himalayas दिख रहे हैं, आसमान इतना साफ हो गया कि जलंधर से हिमालयाज दिख रहे हैं. So nature has done its part, right? And with COVID, nature is again making it more pristine. It's cleaning this, the air and everything. So first thing first, we should understand who's starting it. So who's that entrepreneur? Which is that village which is starting it, right? And what is the village main agenda behind doing it, or motive behind doing it? If the motive behind doing a tourism thing is to make only money, then you'll make only money for a very short time, very short period of time. You'll make money for for 6-7 months, and people will start getting bored. You'll have to look at a very long-term perspective. Any businessman who wants to get into this, probably after this conference, or anybody who wants to get into ecotourism, आपको आपका विजन लॉन्ग टर्म रखना पड़ेगा. पैसा तो आएगा, बट अगर उस टूरिज्म को सस्टेन करना, सस्टेनेबल टूरिज्म इज समथिंग विच पीपल शुड फोकस ऑन. हाउ कैन यू सस्टेन टूरिज्म फॉर द लॉन्गेस्ट पीरियड ऑफ टाइम? कि आज मैं इस विलेज को या यहाँ पे मैं इको टूरिज्म सेटअप शुरू कर रहा हूँ, मुझे 50 साल तक चलाना है. मैं शुरू कर रहा हूँ, मेरे 2 जनरेशन भी यही करते रहेंगे. सो जब आप ये सोचोगे तो ऑब्वियसली आप फिर नेचुरली आप कुछ स्टेप्स लोगे जो सस्टेनेबल होंगे. लाइक बिल्डिंग मटेरियल्स कैसे यूज़ कर रहा हूँ मैं प्लम्बिंग कैसा कर रहा हूँ मैं, कितना ऑल दोज कंस्ट्रक्शन थिंग्स विल कम इन टू प्ले. सो ऑल दिस केयर यू विल टेक इफ यू लुक फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म परस्पेक्टिव. इफ यू लुक फॉर ओके मुझे 6 महीने पैसे कमाने और निकल जाने, सो देन ऑब्वियसली you'll take the shortcuts. But again, shortcuts would give you short benefits, and then again you go back to the same. So that's something which an entrepreneur should take care of. Second is from the Gram Panchayat level and from the executive and government level. Before sanctioning also, I think there has to be some filter there. I don't know what filter. I would suggest some filters. That okay, the credibility of the person you are allowing it to, allowing that person to do it. So check the background. Those background due diligence and background check should happen. You should limit the months he or she can do the business year. So like you can't allow 12 months of business. If it's in our in green zone, you're allowing ecotourism, you can't do it for 12 months. You'll have to shut it for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. That depending on that that zone. And this is just a suggestion. According to me, you can't do it for 12 months. You'll have to be responsible enough कि यार इससे मैं 8 महीने कमाता हूँ, 4 महीने छोड़ देता हूँ, 4 महीने वापस रिप्लेनिश हो जाएगा, वापस 8 महीने कमा दूँ. So you can't वो सोने के अंडे देने वाली मुर्गी वाली बात है. You can't cut the hen एक ही दिन में. So that's the second that from the government point of view. Third comes from the tourist, those who are traveling. And I think, like I said, if you give them that environment, that situation, they react to it. So if I'm the tourist and you are inviting me to a village which is very pristine and quiet, I'll make sure that it remains that. And that comes with education. So, the villages will have to take a lot of effort in communicating their core ethos of bio tourism, that हम ये promote करते हैं, हम इस तरह से करते हैं. lot of I've seen a village जहाँ पे artworks लगे हुए हैं कि भाई हम इससे बनाए हैं. Like I went to a village in Netherlands, Giethoorn, where there are no roads. It's only canal. They have not built roads. It's only canal. Entire city is canal. You can just Google the place. It's beautiful. It's pristine. And the way they take care of that place, it's biotourism. It's ecotourism. There what the government has done, they have some heritage homes across the canal. You find beautiful houses. So government has given this option to the residents that okay, you can buy these heritage houses, but you got to maintain the way we ask you to maintain. So there is a prototype. There is an SOP of maintenance. So you got to follow those SOP, and we'll fund you for some maintenance. Probably will take care of your roof. All the roofs are the same size and the same way. Not the size, but same pattern. So the government takes care of the roof. The house is taken care by the residents. So such schemes, such things are happening in other parts of the world. It can happen here too. It's just the effort we need to take. Yeah, you can't be disappointed. If you're disappointed, then you're done. So I'm not disappointed, but yeah, I'm worried. I'm concerned. But in a way, from the nature's point of view, I find it good. I find it everything is on halt. Everybody is, for the last 60 days, you are at home. You'll start the lockdown noises also. I'm sure post-COVID you'll miss this lockdown noise. The shanti hai miss karoge aap. So in a way, for the nature point of view, I'm happy. But yeah, I'm concerned about from the business perspective. But I'm not disappointed. You can't be. Things happen for a reason. And there's always a future. There's always light after the tunnel, they say. Tourism is one sector which gives you money and jobs and everything in a flash. One Instagram post, one influence, you get viral. One viral post will make fortunes for you. So yes, it's the best time to get into it. In fact, you'll get a lot of support from the government is what I feel from the recent developments if you start something into eco-tourism space.